Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. Just a few hours left of Christmas, and I figured until Christmas is over, I can't believe it how fast this year went. Um, but I figured I'd jump on for all of you people that were home and a little lonely and didn't really see family, or maybe you saw family and now you're just relaxing. Little reading to wind down. All right, those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play those karmic themes, to help you understand why your person is doing what they're doing. Why, why do you have to go through that experience? What is the whole purpose? Because every situation that plays out within our life is a reflection of what's going on internally. So when we have trauma, unresolved trauma, and usually it's childhood trauma that has become not even suppressed energy anymore, but repressed, and that is like you don't even remember, is a part of you. Well, we're not conscious, obviously. So the experiences play out as a way of the universe showing you what needs to be healed, what makes you feel separate from your creator, right? It's again, if God made you in its image, why does your life not look perfect, right? If God is perfect and we have the same energy, why doesn't our life look perfect? So we wouldn't know. We live the experiences, and those experiences, when they are not learned, they turn into karmic cycles, that turn into karmic loops, that turn into karmic contracts. And then we've entered into a vow, we've entered into a covenant. So there's not just fragmented parts of self due to the trauma, which is what happens when we go through traumatic experiences. We detach, we disassociate, but what also happens is we attract very negative spirits, unclean spirits. Now, we are spirits ourselves. So, when this body dies, well, the spirit goes back to source. It remembers. So when we meet a past life karmic meet, it's like, and they feel like home, and we don't know whether it's a twin flame or a past life karmic mate. It's because there was love, there's a soul recognition, ESP through the heart and mind, clear cognizance, clear sentient, that is clear knowing and clear feeling. And so that's pretty much the language that transcends all time and space and the soul relationship. We have to watch out because, again, it's all about lessons. You say lessons again that will teach you where the light is not like able to come inside of you, right? Where you're blocked off, feeling separate, feeling detached from that God part of self. And see, what that represents is a lot of times not enough financial stability, bad relationships, not feeling safe, pretty much, feeling like you need to figure things out all on your own in a world that is constantly changing and constantly telling you that you're not enough, you don't have enough. So, again, healing is not a one and done. I do heal the spirit also because our society doesn't talk about it, but I don't know why, because it's written in every single spiritual scripture. It doesn't matter what religion, we talk about it. I mean, there's things of attachment, and that's a negative spirit. We have negative spirits when we're fragmented. It's because there's nothing to fill that space. And so, again, how does it play out? It plays out within the karmic themes, the the karmic themes that continue to loop within your life. It's not a one and done. Hey, nature, it's not a one and done, meaning like you went through one situation and it just happened. No, it's like you keep dating people that are abusive. You keep, losing a job. It's like that's the karmic thing. That's how you know that you have an attachment. That's how you know that you need deliverance healing. It's again, and that's where the fragmentation is like has been there for a long time. And sometimes we're born into families that, it's just, it's a traumatic environment. So it's not a blame game, but usually if you grew up in that, you're going to have a lot of psychic ability. You're going to have a lot of traits and gifts also that come from it. Like the gifts come from, living in environments that were hard. That's how you get resilience and courage, and you evolve into higher states of consciousness, right? Hey, um, Pure, I don't think I'm saying your name right, but thank you for being here. So the underlining energy is spirit descending. And spirit descending is, we all have a spirit part of self, but that spirit needs to, again, be grounded. So you're in a place of trying to manifest something. And the underlining energy could be like your focus isn't really even on that person, but it's more on you, you know, pride. Yeah, I feel like you're in separation from somebody that's very prideful. They just, they like seeing themselves a certain way. You don't allow them to see that, because I feel like if you're in this energy, you're someone that knows how to entertain yourself. You don't need this person. This person likes to be chased. Is the energy of pride. Like I'm prideful because of the ego. We have to see what this person did. Attention. They need constant attention. Didn't I say? They need constant attention. Otherwise, they get irritated and jealous, and they do things to try and get underneath your skin. So if you're chasing them, then again, it's that they get to live the reality that they want to again portray. And so they're prideful. Having to come back and apologize seems weak, seems less than. So already you know that this person is like on a low vibration. And I say that because a person that cares more about, you know, what other people think and how they look than actually be in a relationship is like says everything. You know that they don't know how to communicate, and this says it too, because what they do is they withdraw. So they try to trigger you through, withdrawing. So if you try and even have a conversation with this person, they don't want to hear it. And they know exactly what they do. You know, and that's the thing. They want you to in this constant state of feeling like panicked and unsure in the relationship, so that you don't really have expectation. And that's the thing. So over time, this affects the trust in a relationship. This affects the chemistry in a relationship. But what happened is, it's like you just felt abandoned, them coming in and out of your life. When a person comes in and out of your life, what they do is they're conditioning you. Where you're not feeling safe. You don't trust this person because, and they want to do that because they want to keep you in a place of where you feel displaced, that you don't feel comfortable in yourself. It's a way that they can dominate you. It's a way that they can control, and that's through how much time I want to give you. Which again, obviously, you felt like, well, you have a lot of time for everyone else, but you give me just enough. You give me just enough. So what you see here is again the manipulation, and the intimate manipulation, like I said, is someone that comes in and out of your life. That creates brain damage. It creates anxiety. This person knows exactly what they were doing. Again, to dominate, to control, and also like what you were going to be willing to put up with, to be honest with you. Then we'll ask, well, is this really how they feel? Like, what's the whole point? Because a person can have feelings for you and be just really toxic and need healing. And it doesn't mean you should try and fix them or go with them. It's about seeing, like, what is the person thinking? Why do they think it? A lot of times. And what you'll see is if a person has a lot of trauma where they were betrayed, they were hurt, they can't, and they haven't healed that, then they get into every relationship and they're the ones that betray. It's like they set it up to do that. But that's why I'm going to look at something random, like, how does this person feel about you? And it's like they feel like that it's not over. The story isn't over yet. So you might have walked away from them, but they're like, yeah, and like you're mad, but I'm going to have that last say. And it doesn't mean that it's true. What it means is that this person likes to be in control to the point that they sabotage the relationship. It's not that they don't have feelings, but it's all about like control, like and dominance, and you know them gonna act like this is just a fling, but their story isn't over yet. Meaning, like, because you look fine, so I don't want you to think that this was anything more than it actually was. But that doesn't mean that it is. What it means is like, I want you to think that. I want you to, because I'm jealous and I'm possessive. It's creating because you don't care. So it's like being that you don't care. It's, remember, this person did everything to like wear away at your self esteem. Everything that they did was strategized to see what you were going to put up with. What you would, this is how they get into relationships, and they usually get what they want. See, but they didn't get what they wanted from you because you're happy and you're moved on. But it's like they're seeing you more like, again, property more than anything else. There was a third party. Well, there's always a third party because this person needs attention. They need that. So they want you to think that it wasn't really that important, but it's like, how dare you get away? It's we can see that this person's 100% in their ego, and the best thing to do, even if you want to just irritate this person, is give them nothing, because it's killing them. Like, it's killing them, you know Thank you, Diane. And that's this person knows that you deserve better than them. They know. They're not it's But does that mean that they want you to have it? No, they're jealous and possessive. So it's like, I don't want to give you anything, but you're going to move on and get something and be happy. And that pisses me off because, again, they consider it like your property, and that's not, you're not property. That's what the issue is. It's like that this person is like a little a little crazy, and that happens from trauma. But what you're going to also see is a lot of bad behaviorisms. So like where this person, like, they know on some level that they didn't give you enough. So they're like thinking, was there even enough remains? Are you even going to think to even restore the relationship? Is enough history in the relationship? Because I feel like when you look back on it, you're like, they didn't really give me anything. It was just a lot of like toying around. Well, because this person didn't think that they had to give. Their way was to try and knock you down so you would settle for less. That didn't happen. And so the issue is that this person just has a lot of too many barriers up due to past relationships. And so they care too much about protecting themselves. So whether that's, I don't want to lose my money, I don't want to, get emotionally hurt. I don't, whatever the issue is, too many boundaries. And so because of that, it's like the relationship can't grow because it's all about them controlling it. Because it's like, I want to have you, but I don't want to get hurt. So it's like I said, until a person heals, they're always going to kind of have like a frozen heart, like where, there's this connection of empathy, right? Because that's what ESP is, through the heart and mind. It's so there automatically is, but instead of this person like being open to it, they have too many barriers for the connection. It's like there's a true connection here. They don't really believe that it's real because of everything that they've gone through in their life. So until they heal, it's a way that they stay in a place that's, safety. And so we go back to this energy, which is everything becomes a power struggle. Everything becomes like, about you just submitting to what they want and wearing you down because, hey, they're used to doing it and getting away with it. Maybe not with you, but with other people. But this person perceived you to be someone that you weren't. And so they're having a hard time putting the like, hey, this is who you are. Because they're like, yes, but I don't want you to be that strong, independent, successful, whatever it is, person. I want you to be more like swept away with me. But then it goes back to it being like more like a fling relationship because there's no depth in the relationship. So, I mean, the person would be coming in and out of your life, with passion, but no roots, no stability. And that's because of what they've gone through. It's like, well, I don't like investing. It's like if I invest and it doesn't work out, well, so they go into the relationship like that. So you never really know what their intention is because they're never really going to tell you, because they haven't done the work themselves. And so they just to keep the connection through being extremely childish, right? And like I'm not anytime it gets too serious, they're gonna withdraw. And like I said, and of course you got tired of it. You're like, I'm tired of the games. I'm tired of you talking to other people. Even if it was just through social media, it's like this person always has to get attention. And so if you're not going to do it, they're going to again irritate you to make sure that they steal your energy one way or the other. And then they're not going to really give you anything because they're somebody that at heart they want to be free. They don't really want to be in a relationship because hey, I learned to live this way, so I get to come in and out. I get to do everything. But here's this connection and they're like it would kill them for you to move on and meet somebody so you can't do that, but which is completely selfish. And it's like but they don't care. This is someone that again is all about their control, and it's just because again the past uh relationship blocks, too much trauma. So they what they do is they're fragmented, and as a result, they just get in their own way. So they can have a real like he like a real like soul relationship where they do want to go and have a nice time with you, but the moment that it gets real serious, they can't deal with it. So you're in a relationship that you're always making up to break up to make up. It's like it's just, oh well, we get into this fight and we work things out, or so you think, and things get a little bit better, but there's it's still like not because of their past trauma. Until they heal it, they're always going to be like a free bird. But God forbid you're like that, then they're going to get triggered. And so that's what fragmentation looks like. That it's, about their pride and their ego and control. And it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. They have feelings. It's just they become distorted because I'm going to make sure you can't do to me what was done to me in the past, and you're like, okay, like I wasn't even thinking that. And so when we enter into a relationship like that way that this person is, well, you're going to see what you look for, right? And so there's a sense of you always needing to prove yourself. And then because this person isn't balanced, they're going to be more again impulsive because if we don't form an intimate connection where we're transparent, where we really let a person in, then what happens is it's surface. And so this person emotionally never really gets satisfied because you can't get that satisfied with just sex. You can't. It's the emotional connection that once you actually have it, is what you crave because that's what the soul craves. And so there's an essence of I want you because of that connection. But the way that they can have it, it would be one-sided. And the impulsiveness is, well, you made me feel insecure. So I had to talk to someone in the inbox because, hey, you weren't giving me attention where that's not who you are. You would have to dumb me down, and because you didn't dumb me down, it's like this person wanted to punish you. And then you want to know why they have so many burdens, like I said, from past relationships that didn't work out. So they might have to pay child support or alimony, or they lost a business, or they lost something, and so they're like, woe is me, I'm full of burdens, so I can't really be in a relationship. So any type of criticism that you give me or everything that I hear is through a filter that is criticism because I'm not happy with myself. So anything that you say is going to be like an issue for this person, and they're going to be real jealous. So the relationships about becomes very like more like a competition where, and the jealousy is it's like, because listen, you're like, you symbolize things that they like, that they wish that they had, embody certain traits. That's number one. Number two, it's a sense of like control. So when a person doesn't feel good about themselves because they're not really doing anything, especially if they're so controlling and possessive and need to get attention from every single other person, they're not taking the time to actually create themselves, become themselves. They're wasting time. So if you are, then this person is going to be jealous over every little thing because, hey, you're going to be too good. You're going to meet somebody else. You're going to like someone else because the person doesn't like who they are. So, and I say that because they're always in a place of fear. And again, the self image of what they believe that they can have and really who they are. And so if, they feel bad about themselves because of, you're just in regular, I'm going to say regular energy, but when people are taking care of their own needs, and they have dreams and goals and, are interactive in life, that this person's not. It's like you need to get attention from people. So where's your life? Because nothing's built on anything real. So that's why the person would be so fearful of, wanting to control. Because I'm afraid once you really get to know me, you're not going to like me because I don't like me. Because I was rejected maybe at one time. I mean, but who hasn't been rejected? The whole point is if you show up for yourself, then you don't care who stays in your life and who rejects you because you realize wherever rejects you, that obviously wasn't for you. That God will always make a way where there is no way just for you. That you don't have to force your way in any way if some people don't like you, but the person doesn't like who they are. So, and they like you. So it's like if you get to know me, you're going to stay with me. Maybe you don't, not. So I have to control, I have to dominate, I have to knock you down a few pegs because, hey, I have to make you feel a little insecure. I'm going to see what you'll put up with. Every other person puts up with it. Well, guess what? You didn't put up with it. And that's the thing. But they took a gamble. And it was all about the betrayal. And that's because this person is like they're not healed. There is somebody that has feelings. It's not like they don't have feelings, but those feelings become very distorted because of what they've gone through within their life. Hey, Debbie, So that's what you're dealing with. So when we say, they say it's not over. It's not over until I say it's over. And it was just a fling anyway. But I'm going to control this. How dare you? You can see it's like they're all over the place. And that's somebody that isn't going to be impulsive. They don't know what they're going to do because they're losing control because you're like not doing anything. So there's a lot of energy that this person is dispelling onto you because I mean, you're taking up a lot of rent in somebody's head, like, and you're not even trying, and that's what's killing them. It's the silence. It's that. And it's you know. I just want to pull just a random. This is my random deck. I want to see if it tells us anything, but we pretty much see my pride and ego get hurt. So I want revenge. like that's that's like I'm telling you. That's what I felt. That's who this person is right there because it's like, how dare you? How dare you? Like take your energy back. How dare you like not fight for this relationship? How dare you not wait for me, put up with me? Like what you're like, who the hell are you? Like you crazy person? Like, I mean, but this is how this person, because you triggered their abandonment and they really was so sure in who you were. They really saw again, and that's really what the issue is. This person can't believe you got over them, you know. They're not ready. They're like they don't want you to know. So it's again, this person like is it's all about the revenge. It's all about the control. It's all about the yes, I'm seeing someone because I need to see someone but I don't want you to know. I want you to get close. I want revenge. I want revenge because you look a little too happy. You look at like that. Usually the story ends where the person's fighting for me. Usually the story ends where that person has mud on their face and they're crying. Oh my God, because I'm with somebody else. So this is why they don't want you to know because hey, maybe I can still trick you into being with me, but they want revenge because it's like you like held to a standard and and that's really what it is. It's like you held to a standard and you're like not putting up with it. They were so sure. And so when you show a person who they are, which by you not doing anything and just putting your energy to you and cutting the energy off, it's like you showed this person you're not who you think you are. You don't have control. And it's all about the control, the dominance, which is pretty terrifying when you think about it, because it's almost like I'll do anything to make make you look bad, to make myself look the way that I want to appear, to other people. And if I can't sit right with this energy, it's like that's because it's the energy that they've probably felt that someone made them feel a long time ago, and not that that's your fault, but it's not. It's like it's the fact that there's a part of this person that if they saw you right now, it was too painful. So instead of them like, when a person like it's they get mad, they want to control it. It's like, and that's the thing. It's this person needs deep healing. They want the revenge. So you have to say the best thing that you can say in a situation like this is, why did I attract this person into my life? What's the whole point? Like, I mean, because it's terrifying. It's like to be with a person like that. So we look, and Spirit says, well, the first card that fell out is Source. Whenever a person is close to Source, a lot of times it's like they've gone through trauma in their life. So we take a look and we see first card out, Belittled. I knew that card was going to come out. I don't know how I knew. Crafts and creativity, innocence, loner, abuse, disassociated, and anger. All right. So when we look at the inner child wounds, obviously, if there was psychological and emotional abuse, if someone's belittling you, it's like you're getting bullied as a child. That's what that kind of looks like. Hey, so that's like to get bullied, but like from like a parent is terrifying because you are reliant on that parent, and so they represent trust, they represent the first attachment. And so if that attachment was like, I didn't feel safe enough to the point that I detached. I emotionally don't, I remember, but I don't remember everything. So, and that's because you have repressed energy. That's what the mind will do, to be like, you don't need to remember all that. It's a survival mechanism. So you remember, but you don't remember. And and we know that because whenever I see source, it means that the trauma was bad. And the trauma was bad because you were up in your head. You detached, you disassociated. Where did you go? You couldn't run away. You had to be there. But the abuse and being around a parent that bullied you, well, there was no real anchor. Our parents are what create that support, that ground, our connection to like the earth, the connection to our physical body, the connection, but again, everything. When your parents are not, if they have a lot of trauma and they're so angry that they're projecting their anger to the point that they're abusive, and abusive by using words, by belittling you, making you feel bad about yourself psychologically, emotionally, making you feel as if there's something wrong with you because they're just angry, you know um, there's no support. You don't feel safe. And that first attachment style is what you remember. And so, which is pretty much betrayal. The innocence gets robbed. Children are innocent. They don't, they think that, oh, well, your parents supposed to love you. It should look a certain way. They may not know a lot, but they know when they're safe and they know when they're not safe and they know when they feel loved and they know when they don't feel loved. And if a child is being belittled, they don't feel loved. And that could be like if you were a bad student and you brought, bad attention, or you were made to feel as if you were an inconvenience just because of whatever the problems were in the house. So right away you were taught that, well, I'm not more safe for being alone. You become a loner, because the first attachment style isn't good. It's like trust was already shattered. So what you'll see is the same type of karmic theme play out within your relationship, which is having people that want to undervalue you, and you're like, I'm a nice person. It's like, I don't know why I get people like that. I don't teach them to undervalue me. If anything, I feel like I'm fucking mean. You might even feel like that after a while. The spirit says it's because it's not one or the other. It's like people can see the meanness and that you're not really that, but that again, maybe insecure. So but you survive through hobbies, interests, and I feel like, believe it or not, this is a porthole to healing. Whatever this hobby or this interest, and it could be this for all I know, like something spiritual that you're kind of into, that you held on to. And again, so you were always able to entertain yourself. You were always able to like, so you're very strong when it comes to like, I don't really need anybody. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't want to have a relationship. I do, but that's always what happens. There's this fear of being in a relationship with somebody that's going to treat you less than. And so we have to say, well, we look at more wounds and then we'll look and see how you need to integrate the spiritual lesson. Because understand, when you've gone through an experience with a parent or anybody, a relationship. You could have had the best parents, and then, but the first marriage you had or the first relationship you had, like, was abusive or traumatic, then that it doesn't matter when it happened. We associate most with inner child wounds because if people come from very secure attachment, they usually, they expect go into the relationship expecting it. The issue is a lot of times if you didn't get it, you don't know what to look for. You don't recognize, like, again, that you're settling for less. You don't realize that you're not setting boundaries because you never were allowed to have boundaries. You know what I mean? It was more about survival, was more about, protection of, because kids want to be loved by their parents psychologically, emotionally. They need that to help them have you know, secure self-esteem about themselves, anything else. Where it's again, true self disconnection will show up as feeling lost, out of touch with your authentic desire, or disconnect from your true purpose. This blockage may lead to confusion about your identity, as well as, difficulty making choices that align with your core values and your passions. And so Spirit says, well, we would want to start there, which is, you're not your experiences. You get to decide who you are by becoming yourself, because there's a disconnection from self. So it's like part of that is there's still, the trauma. It's fragmented. You don't remember. And it's just like, well, there's just like nothing. I don't really feel connected to anything. And you wouldn't really feel connected to your body either, because, hey, you learned how to survive through not being in your body. Remember, by being detached and disassociated. So, Spirit's saying we start by creating ourselves, by becoming ourselves. You get the story of who you think you are, then there's a real story of who you truly are. Why? Because God displays its glory through your broken. And it's how you have a relationship with your creator, is that also how you get to learn how to walk from the faith walk, because you're not in control of the path. You're only in charge of listening. Again, the path unfolds while you're on it. And so there's a sense of being around people that continually to project, and maybe you also projecting a little bit, where, you know, expecting people to be nice or expecting people to act a certain way because you didn't have it, right? And so we can also project that way, but I feel like you attract people that project also their anger and their resentments onto you. And that's also a sense of not having enough boundary, not having enough self worth. Where you weren't allowed to be vulnerable. You weren't allowed to you weren't allowed to really. You definitely couldn't be vulnerable. So it shows up as, difficulty opening up to others, fear of being judged or rejected, an inability to express your true feelings. And that stems from past hurts, fear of being hurt, preventing authentic connections and emotional intimacy, which is what keeps happening. So Spirit saying you have to ask for what you need. And yes, if they don't want to stay in your life, then they're not your person. But you weed that person out before you get into a relationship, because you'll hold on to it and you don't keep giving people second and third chances. But if you grew up with a parent that was bullying, well, understand, this is kind of like the same energy. You're not allowed to be a person, you're more property. And so here it says, we see, just agency wound. What is that? It shows up as difficulty making decisions or asserting your needs, rooted in past where, you weren't allowed to make them. So manifesting as a people pleaser, someone that, doesn't like conflict. So, of course, you grew up with a bully and you attract bullies, is what spirit says, because, hey, you never learned how to deal with that energy yet. And so you care too much about maybe, people pleasing or validation before like the person has even earned the right to even be in your life. Like a lot of times people, like if you're not getting your emotional needs met, and then this person comes around and they assumed, remember, that you were someone that you weren't. And now you're showing them, no, this is who I am. And I know who I am. So, of course, they're pissed off. It's like where they're going to, again, test your boundary, which is this. It's like, well, are you a people pleaser? Are you going to bend? And a lot of it is like, you're like, no, I'm not. And spirit will say, well, then bravo, you finally learned the spiritual lesson. You integrated it, but you have to go through the experience to actually embody the new consciousness so you again can see yourself differently, to realize that no one can. But it's about, again, being able to make your own decisions, asserting your own needs, not leaving it up to this person. That's being strong within yourself. There were inner child wounds. And that would happen if you grew up with a parent that, you saw was like kind of like a bully, and they could have had the best intention. They could have been like, I just wanted you to have good grades, whatever. But their anger took over. The fear of not feeling safe, of not feeling loved. Again, that first connection is a big deal. And so it just, wounds that are passed down from, how their parents treated them, how their parents treated them, how their parents treated them. So we see it's just that ancestral karma of really how that parent dealt with their stress. And so then spirit says, but this is usually what gets passed down. So you might not like handle things where you're screaming and yelling, but you might have this anxiety, or depression, or like a mannerism, behaviorism that your parents had. And so understand over time that depression or that anxiety, like it comes across as rage. It comes across as like scary energy. It doesn't come across like, oh, I'm nervous. No, it comes across as like rageful, because there's only two energies, love and fear. And so it's the way then that our parents learned to deal with it. So spirit says, so the way that you learned how to deal with life becomes the same way. It's handed down. And it's just handed down because there's a sense of, I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to feel, because, hey, that's what it was felt like. So that's the wound that you need to heal. And that's why this person was like, I really thought that you would, settle for what I gave you. It's not that I didn't see your worth, but I don't give people what they're worth, because, hey, that would make me feel less than what I want to be made feel less than. They come in with being imbalanced. And like I said, it normally works. With you, it didn't work. So that's why they are revengeful. But spirit says it's all about you standing your ground and not and seeing like no one can take what's yours, no one can ruin you, no one can do anything. They can try to do all that they want, but you already see who they are. And that's why their little plan is not going to work. It's like, and that's what it is. It's like, I know I ruined the relationship already, so now I want to ruin you. It's like, it's toxic. It's toxic. But if you grew up with a bully, you're like, well, it's like that. You're going to find that you deal with a lot of bullies. You're going to feel like, I don't know, everybody winds up like just trying to push me around. And spirit says it's boundaries. And it's right from the beginning. As soon as you get into a relationship, not 5 minutes later, as soon as, This situation was to help you transform, to see that, hey, that you're strong, you're capable, you don't need protection, and you're safe. That you're constantly evolving to improve inward by working on your weaknesses and refining your strengths. Life ensures that you're presented with situations that are going to help you to learn and to grow, and that you're aware of your progress and your open wings to light. So, again, to help you transform. And now it's all about you. Because if you grew up that way, well, you learned it was more about the other person because, hey, you didn't want to make that person angry. So Spirit says, so you weren't really pouring into yourself as much or finding yourself as much. Maybe you didn't have that support financially, whatever it is. Spirit says, now you allow serenity to reign in you. The love that you have for yourself invites harmony to settle within your being. You listen and honor, and you strive to fulfill the needs of your own soul right now. It's all about you, is what Spirit says. It's like in between. We don't run into another relationship because Spirit's saying, you want to find like who you are today. You want to put your energy into things that stir up your soul and feed you, like energetic wise, emotionally wise, because you're going to meet other people. And, then when you meet somebody that is interested, you're not going to be so available. You're going to make them work harder for it. It's like you're going to, because now you're going to be like, well, I see my worth. And do I really want to give up my peace? Do I really want to? It's like I'm comfortable. I kind of like my life. So unless you're coming in and you're going to offer something, and it's not being rude, you're also teaching that person, I'm not always around for you. I'm not here for you. So unless you're going to put some effort in, I'm not going to bother. Because and that's the thing. So you're teaching a person right from the get-go, where if you grew up with a parent that was bullying, well, you're going to try being, I want to be nice. They were a nice person. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And Spirit says, already, listen, this person already like came in strategizing and you didn't even know it. They came in strategizing. They knew exactly this is how I'm going to play it. This is what's going to happen. This is what you're going to do. This is when it's going to go down. And none of that happened, which is why they're pissed off. But here you are being like, I want to be nice. I want this person. I want to get along. Like maybe I'll bring them a little snack. Like should I wear the pink dress or should I pick her up a thing of roses? Your mind's there, and this person is like a snake. And the Spirit's saying it's like, and you didn't see that because your frame of mind was here. You're like, well, we had that connection. And the Spirit says, yeah. It's like, but they didn't learn the lesson in the last life. Because again, that you didn't know that they were a twin flame. You can tell a twin flame by the fact that they want to. So a person that comes in and they're trying and they're transparent and they're doing it for a long time and they're winning you over, and you can see the fruit of their life. And the fruit of their life is, what do your relationships look like? What does your job look like? What's going on in your life? When the tree is not ripe, it doesn't produce, it doesn't grow good fruit. And that's the thing. So when a person comes in and they're like emotionally giving you all the things that you really like, oh, hungry, this person, like, it's words, it's talk, I'm in fantasy land. It's like, yeah, I was passionate about you, man, and exactly what I said I meant at that time. But now you want me to do all these things, and I didn't have to work for it. So the intimacy scares me. And so you can't, like Spirit says, this is all about you, and that no one can force you to do anything, but the deal is that you recognize it, because you're going to get this test again, Spirit says, because hey, like you finally got to a place where you didn't, but will you recognize it the next time that it comes around? Or are you going to go through a whole big relationship again? One that makes you, perceive yourself like there's something to be in a relationship where there's no trust, no intimacy. Spirit says, and that creates betrayal over time. So every situation's helped you evolve into the highest state of consciousness, which is unconditional love. And so obviously Spirit saying you grew up in certain environment that you just needed to heal. And now you can actually do that. You can go out and heal. You know what? Did I pull from this deck? I'm going to pull to see again what else you should be doing, and that Spirit saying take a bold action, take steps that push you out of your comfort zone. And so to heal, a lot of times it means try something new, go in a different environment, be around different people. It's like, you can't heal in the same place that you got sick. That's number one. It's like try something new. And because you want to meet people, but you want to meet people like in a organic way. Well, and that's through common interests, passions, hobbies. Why? Because when you meet somebody, they want to see that you have friends and other things. It's not that easy to you know, um, to just come into your life. It's like, because again, you really are, your cup is full already. It's like you're already passionate about your life. You get the support not just through that person that comes into your life, you get support through friends, through being interactive in your life. Otherwise, then you're going to want to control because, hey, you've gotten trauma and Spirit says, and you have to release control. It's like you have to let go of control because you're not in control of anything. Only in the now do you get divine guidance through gut intuition and knowing. The path unfolds while you're on it. It's like, and you're going to be brought people, situations, and experiences that are going to force you to heal. It said it right here. You get, again, the situations that help you transform. And Spirit saying, it's like, you're a strong person. Understand that. It's like acknowledge what you've already been through and how strong you are, and that everything's in divine timing. That Spirit does have a plan for you, but it requires you to live authentic and true so that you could actually be, like be transparent, to actually have the intimate type of relationships instead of to be with people that are avoidant or want to control or dominate. Like there's this second chakra imbalance, which is either you act like you don't give a shit or you're like a crazy person. It's like there's no balance. And Spirit says this, it comes from you. Again, living true to yourself, live authentically, unafraid to be yourself, unapologetically. You it's all about you right now. And because again, you're going to meet different people, you're going to experience different things. That's going to make you change into a whole other being where you're like, you just a wiser and become more fulfilled. You're able to see, beyond the bullshit. And the bullshit is that, well, maybe I can't have the relationship. Maybe I can't. Maybe I'm this. Maybe I'm that. Spirit says, stop. The only thing that's blocking you is you. Envision a future filled with potential and opportunities by seeing your own worth, by knowing your own worth. And you don't know your own worth because you're not really living to your, capability. So when you're interactive in life and you're meeting people that are like-minded, well, they're going to make you feel good about yourself. You're going to have a good time. It's going to, it's going to feed you energy. So like I said, getting fed from a lot of different people and experiences and situations, like I said, you're not just going to let anyone into your life. And you're automatically setting boundaries because the person's like, let me see you tonight. Let me do it. I have plans. I can't, I'm not around tonight. What do you mean not around tonight? You can't. No, I can't. It's like boundary. It's like I'm not so available for you. It's like I have a life. Why? Because I want that person to move a little bit for me. It's like, and if I'm always around, it's like they feel like they don't have to do anything. It's so easy they get bored. It's like where this is not, I'm not playing games. It's that me first. I always make sure that me first. Because hey, if the ship goes down, I gotta, and I want to save anybody, I gotta make sure that I'm taking care of myself. And Spirit says, hey, you weren't taught to do that. Just so you know, you were taught to be a people pleaser. So, you had a bully. There was a bully in town. It's like as a little kid, you're going to go along with whatever. But these habits and behaviorisms of people pleasing that needed to stop because hey, here you were again saying, "Oh, I will have the nice picnic. I'll wear this outfit. I'll get this." Do you think that I should pick them up a cupcake for dessert? And this person's coming in like a shyster, and Spirit saying it's like it was too, and this person, that's why they were like so sure. They didn't realize that, hey, you listen to Spirit and you want brighter horizons for yourself, you can have it. But it's all about you first. And then this way, like I said, person comes into your life, you're showing them without saying, oh, we need to talk. It's showing them I'm not available. It's like, and if you're going to come in here and complain or not do anything, eventually you're not going to be able to hold my attention long enough. And that's what it's a game. It's a little bit of a game in the beginning, and not because you want to make it into a game, but when someone is not so available, it creates the mystery. It creates, and that's, you have to hold the attention, right? How do you hold the attention of a person that you like? Well, you're like, well, I talk to them. It's like, no. It's like you want to be like talk to them, but they haven't earned it to know every little detail about you. And then why do I have to work? I know about everything. It's like, and I might even use some of that information against you, because you told me about your bad relationship. So you're really afraid of that. So I'm going to make sure that I do that. It's like, no. It's like you said, it's this way when they come into your life. You know what you're going to talk about? You're going to talk about your ceramic class that you went to on Tuesday night. They want to talk about something else, but you're going to talk about, again, what you're doing. And, you went to ceramic class and you sat next to Billy and he made a thermos and it looked whatever, like an ashtray. And, it's like meaning like, can you have a regular conversation with me? I can see automatically if you can't, I'm not going to give you that much. And emotionally, I don't get connected because I'm already full. And that's what Spirit says. You didn't do that. It's like because you were like, well, this person, and Spirit says, no. It's like you don't get discernment. It's again, the devil works through your environment too and knows exactly what you want and what you believe you can't have and what you're fearful of. So, you have to be wise and make sure that you again are protect yourself. So you could also pull in a person that, guess what, they saw right from the get-go who you were because you're like, I have standards, I'm busy in life. They would have came in a lot different. And you can get a person then that actually falls in love with you that was a player because it's like you held their attention. And it's how much time, energy, focus, money a person gives you is how much they've invested. And what you notice is people that have blocks, they don't invest. And so the key is to say, I want this person to invest in me. and that's time. So the emotional investment, people don't do it if there's not no Lord, if there's nothing, if you're not having a good time in your life, you're not making your life, well, why am I going to want that? It is so, again, too available, too nice. Nice is not going to get you there. Nice will never get you there. Nice will get you taken advantage of. You need to be nice to yourself. Be true to you. And I'm going to leave that there. Merry Christmas to you all. If you resonated, give it a like. And until next time, be true to you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.